Today's story is the story of Vincenzo Peruggia, a man who dared to outwit the world and steal the Mona Lisa, believing he was righting a historical wrong. What unfolds is a tale of audacity, mystery, and a crime that would forever change the course of art history. The Missing Smile, a tale of the stolen Mona Lisa. It was the summer of 1911, and Paris was bathed in the golden light of late August. The Louvre, the world's most famous museum, was quiet on that Monday morning, closed for its weekly cleaning. But behind the calm exterior of its Renaissance walls, something was about to unfold that would shock the world and cement the Mona Lisa's place in history. The Mona Lisa, or La Gioconda, as she was known in Italy, was a relatively obscure piece compared to some of the Louvre's other treasures. Painted by Leonardo da Vinci in the early 16th century, she had been acquired by King Francis I of France and had hung in the Louvre since the French Revolution. While admired for her enigmatic smile, she was not yet the global icon she would soon become. At 7 a.m., the Louvre's workers arrived as usual. Among them was Vincenzo Peruggia, an Italian handyman who had been employed by the museum for some time. To the staff, he was just another face in the crowd, a man who painted walls, installed glass panes, and performed other mundane tasks. But Peruggia had something else in mind that day. Dressed in a white smock, similar to the uniforms worn by the museum's employees, Peruggia blended in seamlessly. He made his way to the Salon Carré, where the Mona Lisa hung between two larger works. The painting was modest in size, housed in a simple glass case. Peruggia knew this room well. He had helped place the protective glass over the painting, and he had noticed how easy it would be to remove it. As the museum staff busied themselves elsewhere, Peruggia acted quickly. He lifted the painting off the wall and carried it to a nearby service staircase, where he removed the glass case and frame, leaving them behind. He then wrapped the Mona Lisa in his smock, concealing her under his arm. For a brief moment he hesitated. Was he really going to pull this off? But the thought of national pride and a misplaced sense of justice spurred him on. He believed the Mona Lisa belonged in Italy, her birthplace, not in France. As he made his way to the museum's exit, Peruggia encountered a locked door. His heart raced. He hadn't anticipated this. Just as panic began to set in, a plumber happened to walk by. Peruggia, still dressed as an employee, asked the plumber to unlock the door for him. The man complied, unaware that he was aiding one of the greatest art thefts in history. Peruggia exited the Louvre and walked the short distance to his apartment on Rue de l'Hôpital Saint-Louis. There he hid the painting in a trunk, where it would remain for more than 2 years. The disappearance of the Mona Lisa wasn't noticed until the following day. When the museum reopened on Tuesday, August 22nd, artist Louis Beroud arrived to sketch the famous painting. To his shock, the space where the Mona Lisa should have been was empty. Panic spread through the Louvre. At first, the staff assumed the painting had been taken to be photographed or cleaned. But as the minutes turned to hours, the truth became clear. The Mona Lisa had been stolen. The Paris police were called, and Inspector Alphonse Bertillon, a pioneer in forensic science, took charge of the investigation. The museum was closed for a week as investigators combed through every corner. They questioned staff, dusted for fingerprints, and even examined the frame and glass case left behind by the thief. But the clues were few and far between. Public outrage and media frenzy ensued. The theft became an international sensation, with headlines declaring the Mona Lisa's disappearance. In the days following the theft, thousands of Parisians lined up outside the Louvre, eager to see the empty space where the painting had hung. Among the suspects were some of the most famous names in the art world. The avant-garde poet Guillaume Apollinaire was arrested after a former secretary of his, who had stolen statues from the Louvre years earlier, implicated him. Apollinaire, in turn, accused his friend Pablo Picasso. The young artist was brought in for questioning, but there was no evidence to support either man's involvement. They were eventually released, but the mystery remained unsolved. Meanwhile, Perugia sat quietly in his apartment, listening to the growing uproar. He was both amused and nervous. He hadn't anticipated the global reaction to his crime, nor the intense scrutiny that followed. But despite the pressure, he kept the painting hidden, waiting for the right moment to return it to Italy. It wasn't until November 1913, more than 2 years later, that Perugia finally made his move. Convinced that his act would be seen as one of patriotism, he contacted Alfredo Geri, an art dealer in Florence, under the alias Leonard. Perugia claimed he had the Mona Lisa and wanted to return it to Italy in exchange for a modest reward. Geri, skeptical but intrigued, agreed to meet Perugia in Florence. Together with Giovanni Poggi, the director of the Uffizi Gallery, Geri inspected the painting. They were stunned. It was indeed the Mona Lisa. However, rather than immediately celebrating, Geri and Poggi played along, expressing interest in purchasing the painting. They asked Perugia to leave it with them overnight for verification. The next day, Perugia returned, expecting his reward and recognition as a hero. Instead, he was met by the police and promptly arrested. The Mona Lisa was sent back to the Louvre, where she was greeted by an adoring crowd. The painting's theft had catapulted her to global fame, transforming her into the most recognized work of art in the world. But as the dust settled, questions lingered. Why had Perugia waited so long to act? Had he really acted alone, or were there others behind the scenes guiding his hand? And what of the whispers that another version of the Mona Lisa might exist? A twin painting hidden somewhere in the shadows of history. Perugia served his time and was released, fading into obscurity. The Mona Lisa returned to her place in the Louvre, her smile more mysterious than ever, as if she knew something the world did not. And perhaps she did. And there you have it. The incredible tale of how the world's most famous painting vanished without a trace, only to resurface years later. The mystery of the missing smile may be solved, but questions still linger, leaving us to wonder what secrets the Mona Lisa might still be hiding. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history's dark and mysterious corners, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more crime and horror stories. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think really happened during those 2 years when the Mona Lisa was missing? I'd love to hear your theories. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep your eyes open, because you never know what might be hiding in the shadows.